Hey everyone, today we're diving into the BEACON exercise. If you've ever been curious about what it is and maybe how you can get involved, either as a volunteer or as staff, then you are in exactly the right place. Let's get right into it. So, picture this. It's just after 6:30 in the morning. A massive 8.8 earthquake rips along the San Andreas Fault. The infrastructure is just crippled and the devastation it's widespread. And in those critical first few hours, all the ways we normally communicate just vanish. Cell service, internet, even the old landlines, they're all gone. The silence is, well, it's deafening. So this brings up the single most important question, right? When all of our primary communications are wiped out, how in the world do cities, counties, and state agencies coordinate a massive life-saving response? This is exactly the problem that the BEACON exercise is built to solve. So, what is BEACON exactly? Let's break down its mission and talk about why this exercise is so absolutely critical for being prepared. BEACON actually stands for Building Emergency Area Communications, Operations, and Networks. And look, this isn't just a simple drill. It's a huge, large-scale, functional exercise. It's designed to really test our ability to communicate when all our usual systems have failed. And this quote really just nails the core purpose. The whole goal is to build and test these backup communication systems, bringing together paid emergency pros and dedicated volunteers to make sure everyone can talk to each other when it matters most. Okay, this is where you come in. A lot of people are interested, but, they might feel a little intimidated. So let's just tackle the biggest questions that potential volunteers always have. This is, without a doubt, the number one question we hear. You see the equipment, you hear all the jargon, and you start to wonder, am I actually qualified for something like this? And the answer is a very clear, very simple no. You do not need prior experience. In fact, some of the most important roles in this exercise actually include on-the-spot, hands-on training as part of the day itself. Okay. But what about the technical stuff? I get it. A lot of people hear communications exercise and they immediately picture these complex radios with a million buttons. Do you have to be a licensed ham operator to join in? And again, the answer is a big, resounding no. What's so interesting here is that the solution is a tool you already have in your pocket. You can be a full participant just by using your smartphone to send and receive messages with your team. And why is that, you ask? Well, it's because in a real disaster, your phone's text function is incredibly tough. Texts need almost no bandwidth, so they'll often squeak through when a voice call just won't connect. They also sip battery power, and you can blast a message to your whole group in an instant. It's a simple tool, but it is so powerful. All right, here's another common snag people run into. What if you're all ready to go, but your local Office of Emergency Services, your OES, isn't officially part of BEACON this year? Are you just out of luck? Absolutely not. You've got clear options. First, you can get together with other local partners and act as the point of contact yourselves. Second, you can reach out to a group in a neighboring county and ask to join their team. Or third, you can check the Regional Exercise Liaison list, that's the EL list, and find other groups you can work with. Trust me, there is always a way to get involved. Okay, so now that you know you can participate, let's talk about where you might fit in. Emergency response is super structured. It uses a system called the Incident Command System, or ICS. Let's look at where both volunteers and professionals find their place in that structure. And this is really big news for 2026. The exercise now has brand new roles that are specifically designed to bring volunteers, like amateur radio operators, right into the official response structure. We're talking about the aux-Q and the ACM roles. So let's break down the key differences here, because this table lays it out perfectly. On one side, you have the paid agency staff. That's your communications leader, or COML, and your radio operator, or RADO. They're using official government-owned gear. Then on the other side, you have the new volunteer roles, the Auxiliary Communications Manager, or ACM, and the Auxiliary Communicator, or AUXI. Their job is to provide that vital backup using things like ham radio, GMRS, and, like we said, even simple text messages. You're also going to hear the term exercise liaison, or EL. There are basically two types. The local EL is your direct go-to person. Their job is to get your specific team ready. Then there's the operational area, or OAEL. They've got the bigger picture view, coordinating all the groups in an entire county and connecting them with the main BEACON planners.
So how do all these different people and agencies work together without it turning into total chaos? Well, they all use a shared emergency playbook, and it's built on two frameworks you really need to know: ICS and SEMS. First up, there's the Incident Command System, or ICS. Honestly, the best way to think of it is as a universal playbook. It's a standard way of organizing and managing any incident, whether it's a small fire or a massive earthquake. It just makes sure everyone's on the same page and knows exactly who's in charge of what. Now, here in California, we use the Standardized Emergency Management System, or SEMS. This is pretty much just California's official statewide version of that playbook. SEMS uses that same ICS structure at its core, so that when different agencies from all over show up, they can all work together smoothly and efficiently.
All right, so you've done the prep work, you understand your role. What actually happens on the day of the exercise? Let's walk through what your mission will look like.
So, the exercise day is broken into 3 main chunks. It all kicks off at 10 a.m. with assessing the community impact. Then at noon, the focus shifts to a really key task: creating and sending mutual aid requests through a system called EMA. And finally, at 2 p.m., it's all about updating the status of those resources. It's a really fast-paced, structured flow of information.
Now listen up, because this is probably the single most important instruction for anyone participating. The exercise is not about perfectly pretending a hospital needs a specific number of bandages. It is about testing the process. Can you create the request form correctly? Can you transmit it successfully? Can the person on the other end get it and understand it? The process of communication. That's what's being tested here.
So, feeling ready to jump in? Awesome. Let's wrap this up with the actual concrete next steps you can take to get involved and be ready for the big day. Go ahead and mark your calendars. Before the main event on April 30th, there are some really important prep days. There's a tabletop exercise in January to walk through the scenario, and then you've got local and regional equipment test days in February and March. These are your chances to get comfortable with the systems and your team. And really, that's what it all comes down to. This exercise is so much more than just a drill. It's a chance to build the real skills and networks that will absolutely save lives. So the question is, when the lines go dead, will you be ready to be part of the response?